Going live for Blockchain Brunch. Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name's Emily. I'm the crypto recruiter, and this is Trevor, our director of strategic partnerships. We are super excited to be here every Wednesday for you guys. You know what, Trevor? I actually need to pull up LinkedIn to make sure that we are live right now. How's your morning going?
Live, and we are live on multiple platforms today. Look at this technology doing the technology thing. I like it.
Love it. Love technology. Yeah, I think we're live on Twitter and Instagram. Let me join the LinkedIn one though. Yes, we are. We are here. So one of the things that we're going to starting with is our open jobs. So I want to go through what we've got going on. We've got 36 positions open right now, which is amazing.
More to come. We are on fire.
Actually, we should be opening about 3 later this week. Roles that I still have open that I'm still hiring for. So I've got a staff storage engineer. These are all remote in the US, by the way. Staff storage engineer, a staff software engineer for Bridge. Oh, you know what? Oh, no, it's there. Okay. A lead software engineer, a head of engineering. That's a similar role. A VP of custody, a backend DeFi engineer, a senior backend engineer, mobile engineer. That's iOS and nope, it's just iOS. And then we've got a crypto lawyer. Looking for a product lawyer there, a chief marketing officer, a VP of strategy, a account executive for stablecoins, building out that business in the US. We also have a new account executive role opening here in Chicago for a Bitcoin ATM company. We have a security engineer, a finance operations lead, a VP of engineering, a smart contracts engineer, a systems developer. We've got a director of security, a senior accountant, director of operations. That role is based in Canada, but you can be anywhere on East Coast time zone. Head of client services, a chief marketing officer, and investor relations. This one is super hot. Investor relations, I need someone immediately that can start immediately. Also need an executive assistant, fully remote, that can start immediately. I have another executive assistant role. That one is based in Europe. And then back in the US, we've got a software engineer, a Solana software engineer, a DeFi smart contracts engineer, a Move. And then I've got a Rust blockchain developer. I've got a business development lead, I lost my place here, business development lead. I've got a mobile engineer. That one is Android. Got a chief operating officer for a mining company, a developer relations specialist, a business development manager, a head of growth, and a product owner for a very exciting company that just got a ton in funding. We're very excited about it. And then we've got another senior software developer. We just filled this role and now they want another. How exciting is that?
Yes.
So that's what we've got going on for jobs this week. Welcome all. We've got 16 people in the room. So excited for you to be here. That's kind of what I got for open jobs. But I wanted to talk about office hours last week. I mean, office hours were incredible. We had over 100 people in the room. And here's the thing, I find it really interesting. Job hunting is a very emotional time, right? It's depressing. It gives us anxiety. It gives us a sense of hopelessness, right? It's a very stressful time. So it makes sense when people reach out to us in a tough manner. I have full appreciation for what you guys are going through. Job hunting is a human experience. We've all been through it, but you've got to approach hiring managers, recruiters, other humans in general with kindness, right? If you approach the situation with vinegar, they're not going to want to help you. And it's not that we're not going to help you, but it makes it less enjoyable. So DMs get pushed down very, very quickly. That's why we host this live event every Wednesday. So that way, if I don't get back to you, if Trevor doesn't get back to you, or someone on our team misses your message, you can just come here and ask, right? We want to be available for you guys. So office hours was last Thursday. It was a 4-hour event. Like I said, we had over 100 people join, and I think we got a lot covered. But this is a long way of saying, we're doing our best. Please don't be mean to us. Our jobs are to help our clients fill their roles. And because we really care about this industry and we want to push it forward, we help people with their resumes and interview prep and things like that. But again, how we pay our bills is by serving our clients. So, I wish I got some very mean messages the other day. because I had missed a message by like a week, which again, I understand is frustrating. I understand it's a very difficult time. Yeah, long story short, don't be mean to people. They're not going to want to help you. We do this out of the kindness of our heart to help our network because we want you to be successful. And I know no other recruiters are doing this. So just come to our live events. We're going to host office hours once a month, and we host blockchain brunch every Wednesday at 10:30. And then
every Wednesday.
Chilling.
Every Wednesday. Come with positivity, man. It comes back to you for sure. And, you know, one of the things I wanted to add about the job search is it is difficult, especially transitioning. If you've never been in this space, it's extremely hard, right? But the positive person in me, the person that's always, you know, glass half full, I like to kind of think about this, right? Like, what's harder, searching for a job or being in the same position that you are in today a year from now? Being in a position right now where you hate your boss, or you hate your employees, or you hate the industry you work in. What's harder, right? You know, so you definitely kind of have to take the good for the bad. But I can assure you that when you stop kind of having this victim mentality and you really kind of come at it with a positive mindset, you start to attract more positive people. The results that are starting to happen to you, you're going to start to get less no's. And even from a like that kind of positivity standpoint, there are only so many no's that are going to eventually happen before you get to one, either a maybe or a yes. Mm-hmm. So the way that I looked at it, you know, there was someone great earlier on that was a mentor for me in one of my first recruiting roles. And, you know, I remember doing like cold calling, and like I hated doing cold calling. And, you know, we had like to actually print out a physical list and check off each call, go down the list. And we had someone that would check it. And I remember like being like really like kind of this like upset. And I just had like this kind of like butthurt look on my face. And they were just like, Trevor, don't you realize that the more no that you get through, sooner or later, you're going to get to a maybe. And sooner or later, some of those maybes are going to turn into a yes. And even some of those no's today might be a maybe or a yes tomorrow. And honestly, I swear to all of you, when I changed my mindset and I said, you know what, I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to try it. I'm going to go into this positive. I'm going to go into with a positive mindset, and I'm getting to the yes. Sooner or later, the number of no's got down lower, and the number of yeses started to increase. And a lot of those people that I found, or I thought that like they weren't interested, or that they were like not looking for a job, they were just in the wrong place, or they were at their current job and they couldn't talk to me right now about wanting to explore other opportunities. So, you know, you have to kind of flip that mindset and flip the switch from being someone at a job seeker position to like, you know what, you have the opportunity. You have to take this by the horns. It's no one else's fault but your own if things don't work out. Nope. So come at it with a positive attitude and keep going every day, guys.
Speaking of positive attitudes, Sarah loves the yellow. Thank you so much, Sarah. Yeah. We actually we got in 100 yellow hoodies. I didn't order 100, but I got 100, which is like awesome. I'll take it. So we're gonna be sending those out. There's a lot of people that I owe a hoodie to. So if you would like a yellow hoodie, let me know. I've got a ton. They're just sitting in my basement, so they gotta go. My fiance was like, are these all for you? And I was like, yes, but also. So anyway, so thank you so much, Sarah. We appreciate it. And Dorothy, our good friend Dorothy, congratulations on your new role.
Oh, so yes.
So happy for you. And very excited to have been a part of this journey. So thank you so much. And yes, the rule of attraction. I mean, in any way, if you are positive things are going to come back to you. I think people are a little like, manifesting. That's kind of cheesy, but like, seriously. I mean, seriously, it is really, really
so helpful. Like woo-woo, like it sounds crazy, but when you start to see it actually work, like you'll be so surprised with yourself. Like it's happened to me when I'm just like, something's good's going to happen today. Something's great's going to happen today. Something great's going to happen today. And I keep repeating it. I keep repeating it over and over again. And lo and behold, oh, this client just closed a deal. And it's just like, wait, what? Like, this can't be for real. But when it starts to happen, it's just like the greatest feeling. And like that positivity, it, you know, brings more positivity. And the people that you surround yourself with, make sure that they match your same energy, right? You know, there's going to be a lot of folks out there that, you know, don't have that mindset, but it is what it is. And you have to, you know, as we mentioned before, and we do continuously bring this up, is be passionate, be in love with the journey, love the process. Keep the end result in mind, but understand that, every action that you put into this has to be something that's going to get you closer and closer to your end goal. Like, it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to always work out the way that you want it to. But I think a lot of that is what builds character, and it damn sure has worked for me. And I know that, a lot of the things that Emily and I and the rest of our team have gone with the ups and downs over the last few years, it makes you so much more resilient. And I assure you that that new level of confidence, that new, I would say, ability to handle things and overcome objections that you find during the job search is going to make you even better when you actually do find that job. And it's going to help you to be able to kind of weather the storm of the thing that you deal with when you're actually in this industry, because this industry is insane in all the best ways possible. But it's not easy as well, too, once you actually do make that transition. You have to continuously be upselling yourself and learning new skills and, beating out the competition.
Yeah, I agree with you. We actually have a interesting comment from our friend Sarah. I've been searching for my next role since April 2024, put about 3,600 applications. It is leery and tired, and you need to return back to your positive, chipper attitude. I let the job search get me down recently. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, we've all been through it. It's hard to put in words, but that feeling of like, how am I going to pay my rent? Right? How am I going to put food on my table? There's nothing more crushing than that feeling. So we appreciate it. We respect it. We have empathy for it. And we really, that's why we have Blockchain Brunch, right? We want to set you up for success. That's why we're here. So my suggestion for you, Sarah, let me pop open your LinkedIn profile really quickly.
And also, too, like, while we have Sarah here, right, don't let this be all on Sarah. I mean, there are other job seekers in this audience as well, too. Why don't you guys connect, right? Share information, make sure that you're supporting each other. And I think that we use this kind of happy, chipper attitude. Like, we say friends and we say, we're all going to make it in this industry. But like, ultimately, I think that we can collectively do a better job at supporting other people that support us.
Yeah.
And that's coming from, me, like, I'm going to continue to put that energy out there. I'm going to continue to support people. I don't even expect it in return, but I'm going to continue to do it. And I think that, people like Sarah that continuously send a message like this, you're vulnerable, you're putting yourself out there. If there's anyone that's listening to Sarah, like, please, like, just, even if it's something as little as just saying, hey, I know the struggle's tough. I hear you. I'm here for you. Is there anything I can do for support? Like, it's that sometimes can be the complete difference between like making and breaking someone's day. They could have just gotten crushing news. They could have just like got this BS response about like an interview that they were a perfect fit for. But still, just having that little bit of confidence and a little bit of like someone to boost you up, I assure you that it goes long. So please, please, please help out all the people in our community, and it will come back to you as well too. One of the other things I want to talk about that, we do live in an age where I feel like it's take, right? Everyone's trying to get something, and very, very few people are actually trying to give something in return. And then even less number of people are actually giving more than they get in return, right? So if you are expecting to have good things happen to you and to receive good fortune, I try to make sure that the bucket of what I give is as equal, and if not more, than the bucket that I try to receive in life. And a lot of it, this sounds crazy, but you got to believe it. I mean, it's like, Star Wars or something like that. Like, believe in the Force, right? And the Force will be on your side. And once it starts happening to you, I assure you that, this kind of good karma starts to come back to you. Sarah did have another question about event or field marketing roles.
Yeah, so we don't have any open right now. One of the things that I would suggest is if you want to do events, and I'm not trying to give like unsolicited advice, I just want to help you out. If events is your main focus, your current title is Vice President Marketing, just put a little dash events, right? The key to success on LinkedIn is making it very clear what you do, where you bring value, so someone can identify that in 3 seconds, right? So one of the other challenges is you list your current role is in Bangkok. I would take locations off your resume in general, off your LinkedIn, off your resume. I think it's just clashing or cluttering things up. And if anything, so we have to think of our audience. And our
Yes,
audience
all the
tends to
time.
be junior recruiters, junior HR, and HR. The problem is that their job is to understand what you do, but they're not 100%, they don't do your job, right? So they're not 100% in the know with what you do. So you really want to educate people where you bring the value, what you accomplished in your job, and what your day-to-day is, right? So if you're running events, some of the things that I might talk about is getting sponsors. What sponsors did you get, right? What were the buy-ins? How many people attended the conferences? What were the names of the conference, right? Like really getting all into that, all into the details. But going back to junior recruiters, if they're spending 3 seconds on your profile and scrolling down and they see Thailand, they're going to think two things. One, you're not in the US. Well, three things. One, you're not in the US. Two, you're potentially on a visa. And three, you're only wanting remote roles, which may not be true, right? So I think the challenge is everybody has a story, a career story, but you don't get to tell that story. A piece of paper does it for you. So make sure, this is kind of funny, just make sure you're giving off the impression that you want to give off. This is why I have such a problem with posting, and I'm trying to get more out, but you've got to think about how every person could interpret whatever you're saying, right? So I would really sit down and think, how could someone interpret your experience? Like, what are
Mm,
all things that they might think, and really map that out, right? I do it out of anxiety, but you could do it from a much healthier place. And just what are people going to think about when they read our profile? So, as an example, developing and executing go-to-market strategies to boost brand visibility, community engagement, and lead generation. Where did you boost that engagement? What did
yeah.
you do with the brand? Did you redesign the logo with Figma, right?
What
Community
kind of
engagement.
engagement?
Exactly. Was that on Discord? How many people were in the Discord? Lead generation? Were you using HubSpot? So I think getting into the nitty gritty is really going to set you up for success. You don't have a bad profile, Sarah, but I think going into a little more detail is good. And then your about section for key expertise is like a giant paragraph, which is good because you've got a lot of information in there, but it's intimidating to read, right? If I'm spending 3 seconds, which is unfortunately the amount of time that people are spending on a resume, I'm skipping over this big chunk because I can't easily browse it. So I would break that out into bullet points. You could even use the bullseye emoji or like another tasteful emoji to
Hmm.
really help it stand out. Um,
And
oh
think
yeah,
about variations of the kind of titles as well too, because one of the things that people kind of get hung up in our industry is that titles from one job to the next, they may be similar or they may be actually the same, but the roles and the duties and the responsibilities and the day to day, they vary tremendously. So it's really, really important to make sure that you explicitly put out there the kind of things that you were doing. Recruiters and hiring managers love to see results, right? Like where did this start and what was the end? There are other terms and things like this, Sarah. You may have never heard of it, but there's a role called like experiential marketing, right? And that's where you're going to be much more involved with actually the community, the events and things like that. Make sure that you definitely just do that and look at other people that are in the role that you're trying to get and try to reverse engineer and see, what were the skills, what were some of the things that were useful in helping that person to get to their current role. So, I mean, I do it a lot for business development. I do it a lot, when recruiting as well too. But the power of being able to kind of reverse engineer and find out, what people are looking for based on the majority or the people that have been able to show some success in these roles will go very, very far for you. And yes, Eric, stay connected, and I think you're going to be on the right track.
so we have an interesting person in our community here, Mr. Adam Webb, mentioning not to use emojis. It makes it looking like Chat GPT. I don't disagree with you. Don't use Chat GPT. Don't add inappropriate emojis, but emojis trigger an emotional response. It's literally the whole purpose of emojis. And in marketing, in graphic design, it may be beneficial to use an appropriate emoji to help your resume stand out, make it more, or resume, LinkedIn profile stand out, make it more visually appealing. But Adam, I appreciate your input. Thank you so much.
And I think it's also too, right? I mean, it's your personal feel, right? Like if it doesn't feel right to you, then don't go with it. I mean, there's a difference between being tasteful and then there's a difference between being like a little bit crazy. And I think that, when I do see a lot of posts with just like, bullseye, bull, fire, fire, flame, 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 it's like, all right, like I get it. I get it. I get it. I get what you're trying to do. But definitely kind of tone it down a bit. And if you guys are going to use, I mean, while we're on this topic, because AI is obviously dominating headlines and it is not slowing down by any means. When you're using ChatGPT or any other LLM, I would say try to create content in your own words first, and then use the tools to enhance and or improve what you've already been able to create in your own voice. I can't tell you how many times I've seen kind of like posts or even responses to other people's posts. And it's like you post something and 1 minute later, someone has like a 4-paragraph long response. And you're like, how the hell did they even write? Like, it just looks weird and it seems kind of off, right? So don't be that person. I know that you want to get out there and put, make yourself more visible. And it's really important for people to comment on other people's posts, especially thought leaders and those individuals that have made a name for themselves, because it's a dual effect. It helps them and it helps you. But be original. Don't go too heavy on the Chat GPT or Gemini or whatever other ones they got out there.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Yeah, you definitely don't want to be scripted. You don't want to be spammy. You don't want to be too, just templated. That's the other thing is templated resumes. I have a challenge with. One, they mess up with formatting. And two, many other people are using the same template. So I would encourage you, have a unique resume. If you'd like a template, I'm more than happy to send you one that I put together. I get the most results from my clients off this template. So happy to send that your way. Actually, I have to pull that off my old computer. So Trevor, I don't know if I told you this. What was it? Last Wednesday, my computer was like, we don't want to turn on. I'm like, okay, that's a problem. So that evening I went to go buy a new computer. And then the next morning, my old computer was like blue screen of death.
Oh,
perfect. Well, it was upset. It was jealous that I bought a new computer. So that being said, I've got none of my resources on this computer. I've got to get that for you. So if you're looking for that resume template, DM me. I'll send it to you once I get it.
Once you get back, LinkedIn user, right? So for some reason, it shows LinkedIn user, but just learn how to use the prompts. I mean, that's the thing too, right? Learning how to use prompts. Learn how to use AI. Don't let AI use you.
No, definitely not. All right. So Dorothy, thank you so much for your engagement. I really appreciate it. I always love that you come. One of the things that we do, guys, is we help with personal branding. So I think half the battle is how do you position yourself? So we actually offer resume reviews on top of Blockchain Brunch, just shilling and office hours. So if you want a more private consultation where we can go back and forth, more than happy to do that as well. Not trying to upsell you guys. Like, that's not my intention here. It's just, if you're looking for a resource, I'm more than happy to spend time with you. But I do have 37 searches on my plate. So that's really exciting. And we just filled 3 of them. So we're cooking with gas. I think the one challenge is that a lot of those are in final stages. So we're picking up a couple new jobs.
As soon as we close them, we're picking them up again. Like it's consistently, and I think that honestly, we're just going to get even. It's going to get even crazier coming up in the next few months. I mean, there's just so much going on and so much traction. This is an interesting question too. How about like QR codes on resume to direct potential employers to your LinkedIn account?
Yeah, great idea. Wait, is this my new hoodie or is this my old hoodie? No, on the old hoodies, we actually had it. Yep, there it is. We had the QR code on the hoodie. And so that way, if people wanted to connect with us, we'd be like, here you go.
Yo.
I think on a resume, it's a great idea. I think you can also send them to your link tree that has, your portfolio, a link to your resume, to your Google Drive, your Twitter page. There's actually this really cool project. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed that I can't remember the name, but they're doing resume wallets. Passport. Sorry, it's a resume
Mm.
passport. Talent Protocol. There we go. So Talent Protocol is doing not resume. Sorry, I'm drinking my first cup of coffee here, guys. They're doing passports, resume passport. So on your passport, it connects all of your everything. I mean, it puts your Twitter on there. It puts all your crypto stuff on there. It puts your, if you're doing anything with NFTs, it puts that on there. So it really gives an all encompassing, like, hey, I'm in crypto. You can put your GitHub there. So I think that's a really good idea, but I've never thought of the QR code. I think that's smart because
That's
people are
dope.
browsing, on their computer to look at your resume. My only challenge is we are in crypto. So I worry that some people might not scan it, but for those that are, that would, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. You can
But
feel like also too, like you can create like your own. I mean, our business cards are dope because we have them on there, and it's super simple. And like I like when you're going to networking events or you just meet people out, like having something like that, it's just a differentiator. And especially having that QR code is really cool. I have had some people, and this is funny because it's been more so at like law firms, and I think that there's a potential for people to like send you to some nefarious site with the QR code. So some people love it, some people push back, but like just make sure that you have things in as many possible variations that the majority of people may like or interact with, right? Like I can create a funny post. Someone might think it's stupid. A million other people might laugh, and it's okay. I reach the people that I made laugh. I've achieved something, right? I can create a serious post. Some people might be like, "Oh my god, it's too serious. I don't like." Great, whatever. Like it reaches a certain audience, so make sure that you're creating different ways to stand out. One, and to make sure that you're making it as easy as possible for the other person to help you. So be creative, right? Like create your own commercial. Like make something that can go viral. Make your own emoji, right? Like I had one. I think it was like when like dog with hat was out, and like I have this little weird hat, and I was just like, I should make a Trevor with hat one, but I was like, I didn't pull the trigger on that. But still, right, like make it fun, be unique. And I think that we're getting to the point where your resume is not going, I mean, it's already like that. The resume is not going to be the main determination in you just getting a role anymore.
yeah.
It's so much more than that, right? Like you used to be able to just kind of have the static resume where you put a bunch of words on it and then that's how you get a job. But because right now we're in an age where a lot of people, I mean, they're savvy, right? People are copying resumes. People are using AI to fake interviews nowadays, right? So your ability to stand out and ability to showcase your individuality and your authenticity is like gold. It's gold right now. It's really the thing that I think that is the tiebreaker, because you have to think about it like this. If you have a digital twin out there that has done everything that you've done professionally, they've gone to the same caliber of university, they maybe live in the same town, they've worked with top-notch organizations, and you are all doing the same thing technically, how are you going to stand out, right? It's like if you have a pizza shop in a neighborhood, on every corner there's a pizza shop. Well, why would somebody come to your shop and buy your pizza versus going to the next one? So you really have to think about that and utilize these platforms as a way to like upsell yourself or bring attention to some of those unique things that you just can't explain in a resume, right? Like your passion, your motivation, your determination, your ability to be a people person, some of your soft skills that don't necessarily translate as best as you'd like them to on a piece of paper or a digital canvas like like LinkedIn. It's going to come out when you create your content. It's going to come out in the unique way that you reshare a post and add your own thoughts to it. It's going to come out in the way that you approach people when you're at networking events, right? So always be selling always be selling, yeah, ABS. I
Always
was
be
going to
selling.
always be closing. I was
Yeah,
going to say
right.
ABC, but also to always be selling yourself. Like you are the product. You have to think about that. And if you are a product that someone is potentially, if you're trying to find a job, think about them. Like, why would that company want to invest in your product? Why would that company spend, 50, 60, 100, 200,000, $300,000 on you? Just think about that.
Yeah, it's a good thinking point. I'm struggling today, Trevor.
You're Gucci.
Um,
You're good.
Struggling on the struggle bus. I think we all have those days. My calendar goes till 9 p.m. I wanted to let you guys know, Crypto Recruiters team, the Crypto Recruiters team is going to ETH Denver and DAS Digital Asset Summit in New York. So if you'd like to hook up with us there, let me know. Would love to grab a coffee or whatever. But super excited about that. And we're just cooking with gas. I mean, with 37 jobs open. Oh, Trevor, I forgot to tell you. Guess
What?
how many people we have in our talent pool? I did a report last night.
I know it's thousands.
Oh, it's more than thousands.
Like thousands, high, like 20,000.
327,000 resumes over the last 5 years.
That's crazy.
300,027 resumes. Can you, like,
yeah, it's insane.
The amount of people that are interested in crypto and Web3 is wild. And I love it. I think it's great. More mass adoption, right? Let's go. Let's get a crypto job. But it's wild the amount of interest. And you know what's interesting? I don't think people know this. I mean, they probably don't because you're not a recruiter. You can only look at 1,000 profiles on the back end of LinkedIn. So when I do a search and I get, like, I don't know, 2,700 results, I can only press that button 1,000 times. How do I know? I do it all the time. So LinkedIn has, which is so frustrating because it's like if I'm doing a search, I want to be able to see all of them, but it limits, which is just. So
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, over the 5 years, I was thinking like recently, but like, yeah,
over
over 5 years,
over 5 years.
that makes a lot of sense. Like, duh. I think also too, right? By doing these kind of things that we're mentioning, it's going to put you up a little bit higher in that search because you are limited, right? We can do a search and you could be the perfect candidate. You can match every keyword. You can literally be like, the job description was written for you, but one, you might not come up on the top of the search because you don't have enough connections. So that's why when we say connect with 100 people a week, that's the most that you can do. And you are doing yourself a huge disservice if you're not connecting with that many people, at least. And also too, think about, right, it's not only the quality, but it's the quantity of people that you connect with. I much rather have like 1,000 true hardcore supporters that are going to support me and I can support them and that we find value in each other than like a bunch of like fake people that are just there to do God knows what or scam you or steal your information or try to scam other people, right? So, make sure that, you really do want to hit that 100-person mark per week. But also, try to connect with some of the thought leaders, try to connect with some of the big founders, some of the big players in the space, make sure that, you're on their radar, and sooner or later, you're going to start to pop up and be a higher priority in terms of the search results when recruiters and other agencies and hiring managers are searching for that kind of level of expertise. So, we say it a lot of times and it is cliche as hell, but like your net worth is your net worth. And there's no time truer than now that's the case. And, it's a very tight knit space in blockchain, crypto, Web3. And a lot of people know a lot of other people. And one of the ways that many people have been able to find actual great opportunities, throughout the last year when things were a little bit difficult and there weren't as many, the jobs weren't as plentiful. And I recall literally like watching people, 3 months, 6 months. A lot of those people, they got jobs because it was someone in their network, or they went to a networking event and they planted the seeds of a relationship several months ago. And then they continued to water that relationship. And then things, it blossomed and it became into a fruitful relationship that eventually was able to lead to them getting a job. So like, guys, the resume, important. You need to have it top notch. You need to make sure that it explicitly outlines what you're qualified for, and that you're going to make sure that you're talking about the transferable skills that apply to this role, the role that you want today, and also the role that you're seeking to get into the future. But you also have to think about this is it's just a part of the process, right? Like as much as you should be going online and searching for jobs and applying for those roles, you should be also putting that same amount of energy into networking, especially if you don't have any experience in this space. You probably should put more emphasis on the networking and going to events and meeting people and looking for volunteer opportunities, looking for internship opportunities. And if you're technical, going to hackathons, going to boot camps, like you have to continuously be improving and never stay stagnant. Like that's one of the quickest ways to get left behind in this industry. And this goes to another question. Danny asked this: for someone that has 25 years of experience in IT, the best way to approach our steps to land a role in Web3 and crypto. Well, you're here, so that's the first step, which is great. And then also too, before you start to search for a job, I think that you really have to do some soul searching and see like, where do you want to be in this space? What value do you want to bring? Like, what is your value proposition? What is it about this space that brings you incredible amounts of excitement? What is it that you could do in this space as a professional that you're willing to do, even if you weren't able to get paid for the first 3, 6 months, 9 months, a year? Be crazy. Like, think about that. Like, what do you bring to the table that other people necessarily can't offer? Or how do you have a different perspective or a view or a vantage point on something that your professional experience from a past lifetime could apply to, where you're trying to go in the future? So that's my bit of advice there, Danny. I would also say, make sure that you are paying attention to crypto narratives. Crypto narratives are really important because it somewhat sets the tone and gives you a blueprint as to the focus of the industry or where others are going to try to go, right? So there's a lot with, AI agents, the convergence of AI and blockchain. That's a narrative, right? I mean, everyone and their mother is talking about stable coins. People are talking about Bitcoin strategic reserves and other cryptocurrency strategic returns. Everyone's talking about compliance and regulation. Like these are the areas where you should be trying to pay attention. And then once you find the narrative, then locate the companies and the players in the space that are really change agents, people that are doing great work, and then really kind of like follow that. And then once you find your niche, that's when I would say kind of go all in, and then really start to become a subject matter expert on that particular subject. Because once you learn how to talk the talk and walk the walk, when you start meeting people, it's going to give you instant credibility, right? If you don't know about the jargon or like the acronyms that are used in this space, then you're just going to look silly when you're trying to have a conversation, or you won't be able to kind of build that instant rapport with someone who has been in the space, because you're not able to kind of like, mirror what they're saying or the things that they're understanding. So the more you learn, the better. I would say putting that minimum 1,000 hours of just like learning time, education time. And once you start to learn, I would say kind of go out there and have conversations or try to teach other people, try to teach someone new that doesn't have any idea about crypto or blockchain. That's when you can really start to test your ability and your credibility. Is like, if you can't explain it to someone else what you want to do, then you're probably going to have a very hard time trying to explain it to a hiring manager or a recruiter about what you're actually trying to do or what you're qualified to do as well too.
Beautiful. Trevor, I gotta go. I'm getting blown up real quick.
It's all good. It's all good.
Should we end early, or do you want to take over?
No, let's end early, man. I think that we had a good session. Guys, this is the place to be. Please continue to come here. Follow us, hit that notification bell. Check out our YouTube channel at Crypto Recruiters. We got a lot of great content there. I think that's another great place that people are overlooking. Follow Emily, follow all of our incredible teammates, and stay positive, guys. And we'll be here for you. And that's it.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you being here. We'll see you next week. And
Bye, guys.
This Friday. Bye, guys.